Hello, my friends and neighbors, and you can call me D. Um, what I'm doing is try to add my voice to the many others out there, and I want to talk about several different things and not be confined to one particular train of thought. Um, Hopefully, this will be an experience that we'll both enjoy, and hopefully, this will be a long lasting enjoyment for everyone involved. I'm not here to upset or rock the boat of anybody, um, but I am here to try to cause people to stop, put the brakes on, and think, ask questions, and think for yourself. Free thinkers are the vital to the backbone of our society, and I believe that we need to exercise our freedom of speech and our freedom of thought, which I know isn't covered in the Constitution, but we are allowed to be as free men and women. Whatever you identify as, you are free, and you should be able to use that right to think for yourself. Now, I am a registered independent, so both parties don't have a hold on me. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I am doing all this on my own. I've been wanting to do it for a long time and finally decided to take the plunge and work up my courage and see where this goes. I am partially a geek, if you will, nerd. I like science fiction, not too much. I don't go into really crazy stuff, but I like Star Wars and Star Trek, Game of Thrones, fantasy, stuff like that. I like a good movie. I thought the Snyder cut of the Justice League was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely loved that. I lamented the fact that we didn't get to see that. Now, I know it was 4 hours long, very lengthy, but it was very well done, and you needed the 4 hours to understand exactly what was going on. They might have been able to shorten a few things, in my opinion, but there again, I'm not the director, I'm not the studio. So, anyway, I want to just add my voice to the many others out there, and hopefully, we'll have a wonderful journey together. Now, you can call me D, or if you will. That is the first letter of my initial. I really don't want to put out my actual name at this time. I'm not going to try to seek to make enemies. And if I do say something that seems controversial, it's probably to try to get someone, people to stop and think. If you just keep drinking the Kool Aid, as they say, and don't think for yourself, then it's a good chance that you're going to fall victim and prey to people that will take advantage of you. I come from a background where that took place. I wrote extreme, uh, very extreme, controlling religious background. Um, I consider myself a right leaning centralist. There are things that I agree with on both parties. And I don't want to be one of those people that, if you don't agree with my particular mindset or group of people that I tend to gravitate towards, then I can't like you. I cannot praise you if you're doing a good job. You should be praised for it. I'll give you an illustration. Miss Cortez from New York, back, this is old news, I know, but she raised money for Texas. I don't remember the exact numbers, and I'm too ornery to look it up on my phone right now while I'm talking to you. But she's to be commended for that. That is being an American. That is helping your brothers out. She don't represent Texas. She may or may not have been Texas. I don't know. Uh, but that is very, very praiseworthy. And she did a very good thing with that. I approve mightily of that. President Biden, when he pulled um, support from the Saudis because they're fighting with Yemen, I think it was Yemen here. So this is all old news, I know. These things just coming to me off the top of my head. But anyway, I like that. I really did like that. Now, when he tripped while trying to go up the stairs to Air Force One, a lot of people wanted to make fun of that. I didn't see any humor in it. And in fact, it infuriated me that the guards didn't lift a finger to try to help our president. Um, what are you there for? You know, you're not paparazzi. You're not there to take pictures. Uh, you're there. He's your commander in chief. Help the man if he's struggling. And if he says no, then well, that's one thing. But nobody moved a muscle. And from what I could see, nobody called out to him. They just let it happen. Didn't like it. Kind of upset me a little bit. But anyway, a little bit about me. Um, my viewpoints are right leaning central, I think. I've taken a survey before, and that's what the result was, an extensive survey, probably about, I think it was 2 years ago, 2 or 3. I wasn't sure which political party I associated with the most. Man, pretty much I didn't associate with any one um, completely. So, which is I think a good thing. You can be a Republican or Democrat or libertarian, whatever. I don't knock people for that. If you it's what you want to do, hooray for you. I don't mind. You don't answer to me. I'm just an ordinary person like anybody. Hopefully, many of you that are watching this. I am a blue collar worker. I work in the aluminum industry. I have now for 2 years. Prior to that, I've been in factories ever since I graduated high school. So I'm not in management. I'm a grunt. I'm on the floor in production. Um, so I understand a lot of things. I feel like in some ways we've been led to believe that to run for office or hold a position of authority or even add your voice to things, you have to be a successful businessman or woman, own your own company, pretty much have the world by the tail. I don't agree with that. I think more people need to be vocal and need to be involved, add their voice to the masses. Do I think mine will stand out? Probably not. But I don't know. Hopefully, many of you will identify with what I'm saying or trying to say. And I just really hope I can reach people on in a deep way. Help you to think. Stop and think. Ask questions. It doesn't hurt. Part of my background was you didn't ask questions. You just did and took things at face value. And then, as I became an adult, I began to understand people take advantage of you. And before you know it, you jumped on a bandwagon. You look like an, you know, idiot. And it really, maybe you should have had more sense than to jump on a bandwagon, but you didn't. And you believed in the people that were telling you these things and you trusted them. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling on here, but I live in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I have for most of my life. I was born in Ohio, in Cincinnati, and as a 7-year-old child, I believe, I was 7, that my family moved to Kentucky, and I've been here ever since. Uh, my dad was a minister, and yeah, I'm one of those PKs, I guess you could say. I don't think I do anything crazy or off the wall, but I try to have fun and try to take a lighter approach to things. There's so much seriousness. You have to throw in a lot of humor. I have 2 beautiful little girls. I'm married and first time homeowner last year. So these are just a little bit of things about me. I'm not. What I'm trying to say is I'm not unlike many of you. I like to eat. Um, I like to eat too much, as this probably shows. Um, I like good entertainment. I've been to a concert or two and enjoyed it. I'm not against these kind of things. All I can do is add my opinion to what's going on. I mentioned the Zack Snyder film. Absolutely loved it. Um, and yeah, that was a masterpiece. I like DC and Marvel. The Avengers were phenomenal movies. Um, and yeah, we're a lot alike. And I want to connect to people and on the plane of that we love our country, the United States. So much of what's going on is a narrative that I find to be repulsive. If you're on one political side or the other, you have to hate the other side and you won't work with one another. I don't like that. Our country was founded on compromise, and people of different backgrounds, different occupations, different beliefs coming together for the common good to create a wonderful country and a system of government that is amazing. The system works. What we're seeing is that we have corruption of those that hold the power. There's nothing wrong with the system that's been set up, but there's a problem with the corruption that's going on. And I believe that some of that is the voters' fault. We keep re-electing people that don't represent us. One of the big things in the the search for the war for independence, or rather the birth of our country, is what I'm trying to say, was no taxation without representation. I don't know if very many of you are familiar with American history or not, but this is one of the big deals. The colonists were being taxed. The coffers of Britain had been depleted. Not completely, but I mean, they were hit hard because constant wars in Europe and whatnot. And they realized that they had colonies that they never taxed. So they began to implement taxes. Well, the colonists didn't like it because they'd been here for a long time and didn't pay very many, if any, at all. I'm sure they paid some taxes, but they didn't. They weren't ready for the big hammer to hit them. So they started getting taxed to death. And their thing was, we don't have any representation in Parliament. So you can't tax me if I ain't got a voice in what's going on in the government. You're just robbing me. So they went along and with the taxation without representation. And the truth of the matter is, I feel like we're right back there today. So many of our politicians are bought and paid for by special interest, individuals, whatever. And it's going on both sides. I'm not knocking one side or the other. They both are doing it. So, yeah, that's where we're at now. And we've been led to believe that this is what we have to do. We have to pick the lesser of the two evils, or we have to settle for what we've been given to pick from. Now, what is the solution to this as of right? I don't know. But we need a wider variety of people. A lot of what I see is uh, people that are from the court system, lawyers namely, that like to be in positions of leadership in Congress, the Senate especially. Um, these people, why are the laws written the way that they are? Why are they like 1,500-page documents that are so big that a lot of our leaders don't even read them? They hire a battery of people that's supposed to look at them and tell them, yeah, you ought to vote in favor of this, or no, you shouldn't vote in favor of this. I didn't elect those people. I elected somebody to look at. But why are they so thick? Humanly, your brain will turn to mush if you read stuff that's full of that. I mean, if you've read any of the laws that's been passed, it's confusing. It's got a lot of words in there, and you're like, what is going on? And the common man don't get it. A lot of it. Well, it's because they're using, I believe, courtroom jargon and things that lawyers understand. And yeah, it's a lot of that is going on. If a law is saying, okay, we're going to build a bridge from point A to point B, there's no reason to have a document that's 2,000 pages long saying, hey, we're going to build a bridge from point A to point B. There's no need for that. Simplify it so that if people want to get online and read the laws, they can, and they'll understand what this is. Um, Here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, it's notorious. Occasionally, not all the time, but we'll have elections. When what I'm trying to say is when we have elections, that they'll put a constitutional amendment on the ballot. What this means is that the voters are going to vote one way or the other whether this is going to become a constitution amendment to our state constitution. So, and I emphasize state constitution. So, what we have is this going on, and a lot of times, like the 2016 election, they had two, and one of them they were very confusing. They were very long paragraphs, and at the first sentence or two, you kind of think you understand what they're trying to say, but then you read the rest of it, and you're like, oh my word, what am I reading? What am I voting for? I don't know what to vote. And a lot of people don't vote on those things because they don't understand. And so, and if you go online, I mean, bless their hearts, but there's a lot of people that have their own agenda and they're saying you need to vote yes or you need to vote no. Just tell me what the amendment is. I'll decide whether I agree with it or not. Um, it's okay to have an opinion. It's totally fine. People got upset at Dwayne the Rock Johnson when he came out in support of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's his right. He's got a freedom of speech just like anybody else, and that's okay. It's okay. Now, you might not have agreed with it, and that's okay too. That's fine. But we don't have to hate each other. It's okay. Uh, do I agree with somebody that's from the West Coast? Probably not. Um, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know anybody from out there. I know what their politics seem to repeatedly um, go, and a lot of that I have a lot of questions about. Like they talk about California having one of the best budgets in the world, or I don't remember exactly how they word it, but they're always, I mean, up to their eyeballs in debt. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you're not doing something right. I don't get by with that. Yeah, am I in debt? Yeah, I own a house. I own two cars. Yeah, you're going to be in debt. But when we're dealing with the amount of debt, if I had $50 million in debt, nobody would let me have any more money. And no matter how good a spin I put on it, it's okay. And it's the truth. And it's okay. But I have a problem with the government being able to just spend as much as they want and be like, well, we need this. And, no, it don't work that way. I really think that they have gotten away from them representing us. Now, I mentioned Miss Cortez, Mrs. Cortez. I'm not sure what her marital status is, um, but when she did that for Texas, she didn't represent Texas. That's why it has such an impact with me personally. Now, Texas is usually viewed as a more conservative state of the union, and that usually conflicts with New Yorkers' viewpoint. Um, that's we've been told. Based off of her voting record, I would say that it probably conflicted, but she reached out a helping hand to help those people, and I like that. Now you might be saying, "Now, come on, D, she's probably got political motive." I don't care. She did something that was great. Now her motivations might not have been pure, only she knows, but she did a great thing, and I like that. She didn't have to do that. Now, her own Texas own representatives should have been, and I'm sure that they did. I have not done research because I haven't cared enough to find out. Uh, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I work a really, really uh, crazy schedule at my job. So I haven't looked into it. I'm sure that the elected officials of Texas did what they should have done, and that's raise money and do what they could to help relieve the burden on the Texans. But a lady from New York who does not have my knowledge, any ties with Texas, or, I mean, she definitely doesn't represent anybody from there, raising money to help them. That is, I mean, that is bravo. I like that. Great job. But now you're saying, well, you're going on. You must be a Democrat because you're, or a liberal because you're praising. No, no, I'm trying to make a point, and these are the things that are coming to my head, just like pow, pow, pow. That's what's coming to my mind. And so, yes, this is why I'm wanting to talk about this. So, yeah, um, here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I don't know very many people if they know what's going on here, but we have a how do I word this properly? But basically, there's a conflict going on in Frankfort because you've got the state legislature, the General Assembly is what it's called, is held in majority by Republicans, and we have a Democrat governor. Now, the reason why we have a Democrat governor is because the Republican governor before, he kind of did some stuff that hurt him. He hurt himself. He was his worst enemy, and he could have handled things a little bit more delicately, a little bit better. And the press here in the Commonwealth, yeah, they didn't care for him, and they pounced on things. And for years, they tried to, not just them, but they tried to bring him down, and and nothing worked until the pension program and all that came about, and it's still a mess. So the legislation that they're trying to pass, been trying to pass, and our governor has been vetoing, has been due to the COVID epidemic or pandemic, I mean, and he's been pretty much prior to now. The governor's been handed a blank check to be able to do as he saw fit in cases of emergency, and the Republican General Assembly feel that he's overstepped those. Now, if a member of their own party was in there, would they be feeling that same way? I doubt it. This is the kind of things I'm talking about. Why are they doing? Why are they fighting the governor so hard? Well, it's right out of the gate. You see, he is a Democrat. They are Republicans, and so here we go. But at the same time, there is merit in some of the things they've said. Um, I believe at the very beginning that Governor Beshear was doing things in the best interest. But after some time had lapsed, it appears to many people that live here in the Commonwealth that he was overstepping his bounds. Whatever the motivation was, it appeared, and I stress appeared, political. But only Governor Beshear knows. And what's really going on up there, I'm not entirely sure because I'm not up there. And I don't trust the press completely. And so, you know, I'm trying to be careful here because I want to be fair with what the things I'm saying. And the truth is, there is a battle going on, and I would like to see a little more cooperation going on to try to make things better for the Commonwealth. Our infrastructure stinks. A lot of bridges here in the Commonwealth are technically should be condemned, but they're the only bridge going from one place to the other, and so they're left open, patched, repaired, but they need to be completely redone. These are things I'm talking about, and the pension program, why it's not gotten any better. That led to Governor Beshear being elected, but yet hasn't gotten very much better. And I don't understand. Likewise, people complained about Democrats fighting President Trump for the last 2 years of his presidency, and And I like to point out that his own party fought him just as hard. The first 2 years they had the White House, they had the majority in both houses of Congress, and they did nothing to try to help make things correct. Yeah, he did a bunch of executive orders. Why? Why do presidents resort to executive orders? Because it becomes a comedy show between the White House and the Capitol Hill. It's the way it is. And if you watch it, politics very much, you start seeing that. They like the airtime. They like spending all kinds of money um, doing research and doing investigations and this and that and the other, and blowing through all this money and all this time, and nothing is being done to help the normal American. I have a problem with that. You're not sent up there to, you know, live high on the hog and enjoy a realm of power that nobody else could even imagine. You're sent up there to represent people, to make things better, uh, and to clarify things that are unclear. So these are some things in a nutshell that I'm trying to point I'm trying to get across, things I'm trying to say. I want to try to keep this limited to like half an hour. I mean, if the time progresses and the need to go a little bit longer comes about, okay. But at the almost 27-minute mark here, and I just wanted to voice some things to you and tell you exactly where I'm coming from. Why am I doing this? I have no sponsors. I'm not being paid to do this. Um, so why? Well, I need to add my voice, get it out there, give you my opinion, and hopefully get you to think. And just because you agree with a particular group of people doesn't mean you need to not ask questions. Ask questions even more. And because so much spin, so much fake news is thrown at people about things they say, things they do, that it sometimes is very, very difficult to try to get to what the core of what reality really is uh, with that, with whatever it is. So anyway, these are things I just wanted to talk about. This is I guess uh, the trial run episode, and hopefully I'll see you again. Stay great, my friends.